Maka Setana, abbiamo detto. E quindi io leggerò Kept You Waiting, huh?
これにて第一の番いよいよ開幕
At last the curtain rises on the first twilight.
金蔵め
Kinzo, as usual, he loves being flashy.
付きまとわれればしつこいことこ
Who
の
knew
上な
that
き
this
男
man, who can be more persistent than anything when he follows you around, could shine so when placed on this stage? Damn it. Always killing them and going away. Destroying half of their heads. The sick shit you witches and demons pull never fails to piss me off.
頭部半壊
Destroying half of their heads, I see.
これまでのゲームで
So she noticed that the most ideal method of killing in all games up until now was this one. Ideal? How the crap is this grotesque way of killing ideal? Eccola!
実に理想的じゃない
It's very much ideal.
一番最初のゲームを思い出してみ
Try and remember the very first game. You! So you're the new demon or whatever that just appeared. God damn it. So the witch's corrosion advanced and now there are even more unsavory characters? The more the witch's corrosion progresses, the more Rokenjima tilts forward towards the other world. That's why strange people keep appearing one by one. This island is closed off by the typhoon, and not only can no humans leave it, but new humans can't appear either. But the more the corrosion progresses, the more witches and demons can appear without limit, increasing one by one. By now, perhaps there are more demons than humans among the characters appearing in this insane tale. E ora voglio controllare. Sì, è vero. 1, 2, 3, non contiamo Maria Enge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18, più o meno, dai, quasi. Their numbers might be precisely the figure representing this mad corrosion. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. And now, not only are their numbers being affected by the corrosion, their fashion sense apparently is as well. If the corrosion advances any further and even more weird people appear, just what in the world will they be wearing? It's too scary for me to imagine. Seriously, give me a break. Please, no more of these weird-ass people. I can't oblige, they'll keep on coming more and more. I'll defile the foolish closed circle rule humans speak of over and over again. Welcome to my elegant game, Gap.
お久しぶりねリーチェ
It's been a long time, Riche.
お元気だった
Been well?
というか随分元気そう
In
じゃん
fact, you look pretty great.
あなた若
Have
葉
you gotten younger?
私が知ってる頃よ
You
り
look too, maybe 300 years younger than when I last saw you.
あ
Ah, I see. The demon grandfather had summoned and introduced as Gap took a glance at me and then grinned as though she'd figured out something out on her own. Honestly, I felt that smile was repulsive. Looks like she's Beato's friend, which means she must be an extremely unsavory character. Anyway, they were saying something or other about a closed circle, but what does that mean?
今の六軒島のような
The serial murder mystery novels that occur in places isolated from the outside world, like Rokenjima's now, are sometimes called closed circles.
外界からの断絶
Since it's isolated from the outside, it's like a circle that's been closed.
ゆえに
Therefore, in general, the characters and suspects are limited.
にもかかわらず
Having new possible suspects added on one after another from the outside the circle goes against the etiquette of mystery novels.
つまり
Basically, the witch is probably trying to desecrate humans and the mystery genre.
あなたがグレーテル。
So you're Gretel.
なるほど。
I see.
賢い子
You
みたい
look like a wise kid.
そういう子は好
I
き。
like that kind of kid.
舌が甘くてとろけるから。
Their tongues just melt in my mouth.
気色悪い。冗
Gross.
談はふくらくにし
Keep the jokes to your clothing.
デビリッシュプリティの最新作。
Oh, it's devilishly pretty. Devilish. Okay. It's Devilish Pretty's newest, the Jack the Ripper's Christmas Blood.
人間界の田舎娘に
Sorry for having a style that a country bumpkin from a human world can't understand.
通気性がいいのだけは理
Well,
解できた
I can at least tell it's breathable.
ついでに頭に
Why don't you add a gap down your head while you're at it?
脳みその通気性
Might help your brain cells breathe a bit as well.
ガープは魔界の流行にいつも敏感
Gap is always sensitive to the fashions of the netherworld.
しかし今年の
But this year's fads truly are bold.
我らはもう一
I think I'll order something sometime.
リーチにはアリグレが
Oh,
おすすめ
for you, Nietzsche. I recommend Alice and the Graveyard.
今度一緒に
Let's go to 666 sometime soon to look at the clothes.
たまには魔界にもい
You
らっしゃ
should
い
come over to the netherworld every now and then.
このゲームを終えた
When
ら
this game is over, I'll be sure to do that.
それにしても
Still,
リーチ
your
の
two
対戦相手
opponents
の
are
お二
pretty
人は
cute, Ricci.
この子なら
I bet this kid has figured out the meaning of the corpses with their head half smashed.
察しがつきそうね
Allora, Gap, sei fortunata che sia Butler che ENG sono maggiorenni. Altrimenti non avrei potuto dire bisexual queen.
わかるお嬢ち
Do
ゃん
you get it, girl?
さっきこいつは
Just
一番
now,
最初
she
のゲ
told
ー
me
ム
to
を思い
remember
出
the
せ
first game.
どういう意味だ
What did that mean?
言葉通りの意味を
Just what it sounds like.
一番最初のゲームの
Remember the first twilight of the very first
大
game?
人たちの死体が
When the adults' corpses were found in the gardening shed with a magic circle drawn onto it. Provo ad anticipare, non è la mia conoscenza pregressa, è solo logica, lo premetto sempre, perché in questo caso puoi assicurarti due cose molto importanti. Uno, che il cadavere sia il cadavere di quella persona, perché metà della faccia è riconoscibile, perché dicevano nel primo episodio, quando hanno rivisitato il primo episodio, magari sono dei cadaveri che avevano già preparato in anticipo e non sono veramente loro. E invece in questo caso, avendo metà faccia, può assicurare che quelle persone siano quelle persone. L'altra metà che manca assicura che siano morti e che non sia qualche trucco, qualche movie effect o qualche magia. No, magia no, ovviamente non stiamo vedendo dal punto logico, ma che non sia qualche magheggio, ecco, per far sembrare che una persona sia morta. Riesce contemporaneamente a garantire l'identità e garantire la morte. Chiudiamo, vediamo se dice così Angie.
覚えてる
Remember? Episode 1. The first twilight. 6 people, Kraus, Rudolph, Kyrie, Rosa, Shannon and Goda, had died, and each of them had their head pulverized.
あの時
At that
あそ
time,
こには
there
2
were
種類
two
の死体があった
types
の
of corpses.
それは
The ones with their
顔面を
faces
粉砕された死
pulverized
体と
and the ones with
側
half
面を
of
粉
their
砕され
faces
た死体の
pulverized.
2種類
そう
That's right.
だ顔面粉砕
Four with their heads smashed, Rudolph, Kyrie, Rosa and Goda.
側頭部粉砕は
Two with the sides of their heads smashed, Kraus and Shannon.
我らも
At the time, I had quickly created two types of corpses, but I realized that the former, more atrocious type was actually disadvantageous for me.
ベアトにとって
Disadvantageous for you?
そうか
Right.
そういうこ
I
と
get
か
it. That's right. The smashed faces might look atrocious, but they make it hard to confirm the identity of the person. For example, at that time, Uncle Kraus and Shannon-chan had their head only half smashed. That itself was, of course, atrocious, but because half of their faces remained, it was easy to confirm their identity. But Dad on the other three were different. Because his face had been completely destroyed, even I, his son, could only guess that he had to have been dead because of his clothes and the like. In short, it remained unclear until the end whether that really was Dad's corpse. If the reasoning battle had taken place during the first game as well, I would have probably claimed that, since it was impossible to confirm that those corpses were indeed Dad and the others, there was a possibility that that one was a fake corpse. After all, Beato didn't state anything in red during that game whatsoever. Well done, correct. A fake death is one of the basics of mystery genre. Even if you make a doctor examine the corpse, you can't trust the result if you suspect him of being in league with the culprit. So, the corpses that can't guarantee a death for certain always put the witch's side at a disadvantage. You can suspect fake death for all corpses and hypothesize that they are the culprit for the incident. You can suspect fake death for all corpses and hypothesize that they are the culprit for the incidents that follow. Okay. It's a move Butler doesn't like, but it's the most elementary move to use against a witch. Yeah, that's right. That's why Beato started using the red. With the red truth, she can carry out a perfect autopsy. That's how it is. Normally, for the tragedy of the first Twilight, I would use the red truth right away, confirming that the death of the six. However, as you know, my battle strategy this time is the complete opposite of the previous games. I have switched to using red truth starvation tactics. I will not use the red easily, given that you use it as a grounding for which to counterattack. I can just make you come apart at the seams by using a minimum necessary amount of red in just a single place. What this means is that no matter how I permit you to rant about your theories for each of the locked rooms, ultimately I need only smash one of those with one single red truth. You've been knocking me about with a thing all this goddamn time, and now that I've started using it to counterattack, you've gone and put it away again. What a joke. Anyways, I don't want to use the red, I wanna be stingy. I wanna bully Butler. But how can I guarantee a death for certain without using red? I racked and racked my brains over it. It was God that gave me the idea. It truly was a simple method. I just said something obvious and you hit it upon the idea. I simply said that you just have to create corpses whose identity and total death can be easily appreciated by anyone who looks at them. In short, I combined the two. The face, which is necessary to distinguish their identity, and the symbol of total death, the pulverization of the head, which is the vessel for the soul. When I put those two parts neatly together, oh, hey, presto! One came the answer of all corpses with their heads half destroyed. I'll bet you I bet you love 2-flavor bread and 2-flavor ice cream. You greedy childish tastes are so obvious. In any event, even if their heads are half destroyed, we shouldn't assume that they'll be dead at this point in time. I know. This Beato is holding out on me and refusing to say anything in red. I should suspect everything. Sì, però hanno metà faccia. Vabbè. Of course, there's no way in hell I'm gonna swallow that magic mass murder by the 6 sexy ass Chester babes. You certainly have been shrewd. If this were the first game, you would have swallowed everything. An adversary must be like that, or it wouldn't be interesting. There is no red for now. I suggest you capitalize on that to let your imagination run wild and build up theory upon theory. And at the very end, at the very sweetest spot, I'll cut them all down at once with the red truth. Ok, beh, questo sapevamo che era verso la fine del capitolo precedente. The Sweet World of Witches. Rosa. Silent, black, cold, painful. Rosa regained consciousness bit by bit, and the first thing she thought was that it would have been better if she didn't. After all, her body was so cold and hurt so much, and it became worse the more consciousness returned. It felt like she'd been sleeping in the darkness for a long time now, face down on ice-cold marble. This is why I always tell myself, even if it's just a nap, at least get on the sofa. I always know that if I naively try and close my eyes for just a second and end up sleeping on the floor or at my desk, it'll hurt my body later and I'll suffer for it. Because she slept on such a cold and harsh floor, she was chilled to the bone. Because she slept on such a hard and cold floor, the side of her face that had been pressing down against it was very painful. If she were to look in the mirror right now, she was sure she would see an embarrassing mark. She didn't think that just by rubbing it would make that mark disappear, but she stroked the hurting side of her face for the time being, trying to smooth it over. Oh! Effettivamente è un po' muerta. Where is this? She thought it was pitch black, but that appeared not to be the case. After all, she could faintly see her own body. Without a doubt, there was some source of light, but even when she looked up on the ceiling, or else the sky, there was only an expanse of blackness, and she couldn't see any such thing. Her body alone was slightly lit, whereas everything else was sunk in darkness. That's what this world was like. It was almost as though Rosa alone had been abandoned in a forgotten world. As her mind grew clearer, she started getting nervous about why she was all alone in a lonely black place like this. Metto parole dentro a caso. When she was about to call out, asking if anyone was there, patter, patter, she heard footsteps coming towards her. They were light footsteps, so she thought it was probably a kid. They didn't feel creepy to her, so she wasn't afraid. But they also weren't Maria's footsteps. So, wondering who in the world would be in a darkness like this, she stared in the direction she could hear the footsteps from. As she did, a faint approaching silhouette came into view. It looked like a child much younger than Maria. Who is that? I didn't know him. But the expression on his face was like a lost child separated from his parents. As a parent with a daughter as myself, I felt as though my chest was being torn apart. The instant the kid muttered that infantile word, I felt a sharp pain in the half of my face that was aching from the cold floor, as though it had been pierced by long, thin, hard needles. I reflexively pressed my hand against that side of the face. Are you okay? Does it still hurt? Thank you, little guy. Where is this? It's really cold. Come this way. You can't be here. He took my other hand and pulled with a grim expression on his face. I don't have a clue what's going on. However, a single honest expression rose from the child. Honest expression from a child can often tell the truth better than 100 empty words from an adult. She didn't understand the situation, but even so, Rosa dashed along with him wherever she was pulled. However, this was a world where nothing could be seen in the darkness except for their own forms. She couldn't even really feel whether she was actually moving forwards as she ran. Even though I'm running, I can't feel any wind. It's as though I'm still inside a nightmare, that kind of unreal feeling. So even though I was running, I couldn't maintain my sense of balance and my legs got tangled and I fell. Even in a world that didn't feel real, the pain of smashing my face against the cold, hard floor was reality itself.
Uryu,
Are you okay?
ごめんなさい
I'm
ね
sorry.
頭が痛むの
My head hurts. When he said that infantile word, Uryu, pain like being struck with needles ran through my head again. Even though it had only happened twice, I was somehow able to understand that his word was that caused me was. Even though it had only happened twice, I was somehow able to understand that his word was the cause of my pain. So I said frankly,
ごめんなさい
I'm sorry.
そのウリュウという口癖をやめてもらえる
Will you think?
Uryu,
ちょっとやめてって言ってるでしょ
Excuse me. I asked you to stop.
ごめんなさい。
Sorry. This time I got the feeling that his words of apology made me feel a sharp pain in my forehead. What is this child? I know there's no malice in him, but when I'm around him my head hurts.
大丈夫？
Are you okay?
早く行こう。
Let's hurry up and
こ
go.
こは行っちゃダ
You
メ。
mustn't be
ど
here.
うしてここにいちゃダメなの
Why shouldn't I be
Ne.
here? Come
ここは
on,
どこ？
where is this?
あなたは誰
Who are
あな
you?
たのママはどこ
Where is your mama?
僕を作ってくれたのは
But
マ
the
マだよ。
one who made me is you, Mama. He stared at me with round eyes. This kid's mama is me? Who is he? Who is this kid? I don't remember at all.
僕のこと
Did you
忘れちゃった。
forget about me?
ママが僕を作っ
You
たんだ。
made me, you know? Wait a second.
ちょっと冗談はや
Stop
めて
kidding around.
私の子供はマリアだけ
Maria is my only child.
そう
That's right.
Maria
Where is
どこ？
Maria?
マリアはどこなの
Where's Maria? Maria! I suddenly grew uneasy about Maria not being there. Why am I all alone in a place like this? Where's Maria? Maria being there for me is the only thing that keeps me together.
マリアはいるけど、
Maria's here, but
今はマ
she's
リアじゃ
not
ない。
Maria right now.
今は会わない
It's
方が
better
いい
if you
の。
don't see her at the minute.
その方がママ
That'll
の
be
ため
better
だし、
for you and
マリ
Maria
アの
as
ためな
well.
の。マリアのためにも。
For Maria's sake as well. Run away.
何を言ってるの
What are you talking
マリア
about?
はどこ
Where's Maria?
マリア返事をして
Answer me!
マリアに見つかっちゃう。
Maria will find you.
早くこっちに来て。
Come this way, quickly, Mama. He pulled my hand again. He was probably pulling me in the opposite direction from Maria, so I stopped in my
話
tracks.
してよ
Let go.
大体
Just
あなた
who
は
are
誰
you?
よあなたにママなんて言わ
Who
れる
said you
覚え
couldn't
は
call
ない
me
わよ
Mama?
僕を作ってくれたのは
You're the
ママ
one
だ
that
よ。
made me, Mama.
忘れちゃったの。
Did you forget?
マリアのバースデー
So
プ
that
レ
I
ゼ
could
ント
be
にする
Maria's
ために
birthday present.
僕を手作りして
You
くれ
made
た
me
の。
with your own
忘れ
hands.
ちゃったの？
Did you forget? You
あなた
couldn't be.
マリアの作太郎
Yeah.
ママに作って
The
もらっ
lion
た
stuffed animal
ラ
you
イオンの
made.
ぬいぐるみだよ。
A fierce, sharp pain struck me. It came from the palm of the hand he was grasping. I instinctively knocked his hand away, and when I looked at my palm, a hole the size of a thumb had opened there, and a thick, deep red blood was gushing out. It was a hole so big that I could see through the other side.
ウリュウ、大丈夫？
Are you okay?
大丈夫？
Are you okay?
どうしたの？
What happened? Sakutaro also noticed my wound and panicked. Judging by his reaction, he couldn't understand why my hand had sustained a serious injury. but to my eyes it felt like I had sustained that injury because he had grabbed my hand. Whether there was malice in him or not, I understood that this child was something that would do harm to me, and he instantly became strange and frightening. Go away. I don't know you. Sakotaro was just a disgusting, crappy stuffed animal, right? I don't know you. I'm not your mama. Go away. Disappear. Slowly, at the base of Sakotaro's neck, tore in a horizontal line. It gaped open, and the pitch blackness inside him peeked out. There was no gushing of blood, only the endless empty blackness. And then, from the inside of the gash, cotton snow poured out, and he slumped over, scattering bits of cotton about. All that remained there was crumpled yellow cloth, and bits of cotton that looked like sticky, crushed cotton candy. A lion stuffed animal, without a doubt. They were the remains of the Sakotaro stuffed animal I had torn apart on that day, overcome by my emotions. The instant I admitted this, a long, sharp shriek that could rupture an eardrum tore the world apart. Like a flood from a broken dam, or like a broken TV, Maria wailed in a high-pitched voice. Maria's voice, which made the ears throb, brought up two emotions. The first was regret. I let my emotions get the better of me and committed a terrible mistake. A mother desire to kneel down right away, hold Maria's head, cry with her and apologize. And in fact, I did that right away. I held Maria's head and apologized in tears for what I've done. But Maria didn't stop crying. On the contrary, she rejected me, the one who had torn her closest friend apart, and pushed me away forcefully with both hands. Since I have been on my knees in an unnatural position, I fell backwards easily. Maria scraped together the yellow scraps of cloth and cotton bits, buried her face in them, and cried even more. Watching that, the other emotion welled up. It welled up rapidly. And then burst. I mean, she won't come around even if I apologize, and there's nothing I can do now anyway, and it's all Maria's fault in the first place. I mean, she can't make any friends because since she's forever taken up with this kind of make-believe stuffed animal thing, and that's why she's treated like a weirdo, and you know, it is a good opportunity for instructive guidance. It's not like I was pampered all the time myself. Things eventually break down, are stolen and are broken. Even I had lots of toys and treasures stolen, broken, made fun of and thrown away by my brothers and sister and father and mother. But though I might have cried about it, though I might have shed a few tears, not once did I sob like this and troubled my parents, thrown a tantrum or got in a terrible mood, pound and kick the floor and make a horrible racket. I always wanted to, but I thought I'd get in more trouble if I did, so I always held it in. It is because I held it in that I was able to become the wonderful adult I am now. I mean, couldn't get more on the nose than this. Suddenly I felt something strangely missing. The same feeling as when you use a tool recklessly and it finally breaks, so that you're left holding only the base. But he hadn't been using a tool. I had only been using my own 2 hands to hit Maria's head repeatedly, so I looked at my hands. From my wrists onwards, my hand had snapped off, cracked off, and were gone. As though only those parts of my arm had become ceramic. No, everything beyond my wrist literally had become ceramic at some point and had broken and fallen. Cracks had formed in them because I had hit Maria too much and they had fallen off. Look, see, aren't those my hands there, lying smashed by my feet? There was no pain, but the shocking sight of both my hands breaking off at the wrists made me scream. What? My hands? This way, you won't be able to hit me anymore. Ignoring my confusion, Maria said that with a very cold voice. As she slowly moved her hands away from her head, they had been defending against my barrage. What is this? My hands! My hands! What did you do, Maria? What is this? What is? A black silhouette was suddenly standing behind Maria. It was the silhouette of an adult. Who? Since an arm can pet a daughter's head, flip through a picture book, make warm meals, I thought it might be alright to leave them. Mama hits my head more than she pats it. She doesn't turn pages of a picture book. Doesn't even make me food. I go to buy it myself. But I'm not allowed to go to the same store over and over. Not allowed to have my face remembered. Not allowed to talk to policemen. Why? Why is that? Did I do something wrong? I'm not allowed to have... am I not allowed to have you pet my head? Have picture books read to me? Eat dinners together with you? Why? It's not my fault. Not my fault. It's yours. Your fault. Don't play with me. But 𝙻𝙰𝙳 did. He read books with me, watched TV with me, ate meals with me. He was much more important friend than you. I'm not proud of it. It can be helped, can it? Mama's busy with work. Work! You know that Mama's busy with work, right? What am I supposed to do? There's nothing I can do. That is true. There's nothing to be done. Nothing to be done about injuring your daughter, tearing her heart apart, and making her tears run with blood. Then there's nothing to be done about the same thing happening again. Right here. Right now. Maria, it is enough for the excuse of the woman who calls herself a mother. Can you forgive her or not? Is she innocent or else guilty? Can't forgive her. She's guilty. I'll make the same thing happen to Mama that she did to 𝙻𝙰𝙳. Take Mama and rip her from the seams at her neck. Rip her apart and throw the cotton inside her everywhere. Maria's eyes ominously flashed blue. In that instant, invisible, massive arms stuck their fingernails out and grasped Rosa Entire's body tightly. The bones all throughout her body made sounds like twigs being snapped on as she readily cracked and broke. Rosa vaguely understood. The massive arms are probably my own arms from the time I tore 𝙻𝙰𝙳 apart. From a stuffed animal perspective, my arms must certainly have been this massive. so I could imagine what would happen next. The sharp nails struck strongly into the base of my neck, and I heard the skin tearing with my own ears. Then, watched over by the two witches, Rosa's flesh was split in two, top and bottom. When Sakutaro had been torn apart, bits of cotton had flown about like snowflakes, but in Rosa's case, something like thick black tar came out, filthily flying all over the place. There wasn't even a trace of red blood, but something black, filthy and thick. It was probably what a bloodless, tearless humans kept inside their body instead. It is incredible. Hideous. What filthy insides. That was splendid, Maria. Then again, is this enough for your revenge? Can you forgive your mother or not? Innocent or guilty? Can't forgive it. Still can't forgive. Guilty! Beatrice brandished her pipe wand, and a surge of gold butterflies regenerated Rosa's broken body in an instant. Feel your great sin, which cannot be paid for a single human life. And remember your own grievous sin. Come, try to remember. Remember how great of a sin you committed. Hello, is that you, Mama? What time will you be back? I'm sorry. I'm busy with work again, so I'm staying over. Staying over at work again. Your job being hard on you again today, huh? Yeah, I'm sorry. I really am busy. I've been holed up at the company this whole time. I can't even get a breath of outside air. Mama's job isn't one I can just finish up quickly. Unless I give them the best design I can, I won't be given another job. That's how tough this job is. So I always need lots of time. Yeah, I understand. But be a good girl and watch over the house. So you work really hard, finish it quickly, and come back home, okay? Thank you for understanding about Mama's work. Promise I buy you a delicious cake and bring it home with me tomorrow. Don't need cake. Instead of taking time to go to the cake store, I'd be happy if you just came home that little bit sooner. Don't worry. Come back quickly, I promise. So let's eat delicious cake together. Let's drink delicious tea together. Let's read a new picture book together. Let's play with the wolf and sheep puzzle I bought recently. Both of us together. It's a promise. Yeah, promise. I'll be waiting. Do your best at work, Mama. It's a lonely story, but this is a good mother-daughter love, with each showing consideration for the other, is it not? Do you see any problem with it, Maria? Rosa? That promise, I believe I kept it. The next evening, didn't I do as promised and return earlier than usual with the cake I bought? That's not it. I knew. A pay-on delivery package came from you, for you, but there wasn't enough money in my wallet. So I called your company to ask you what to do. I've been told only to call at special times, but thought it'd be bad if the package was something important for your work. So I called. And when I did, they told me you had the day off. They told me that it had been decided long ago that you have the day off, that you would have the day off, and that you had gone and that you had gone far away to play. I knew. The whole time, I knew that you were lying. But you know what? Saktaro scolded me, saying that wasn't true. And Mama was very busy with her job every day. That there was no way she would abandon me and play. That the person who told me Mama had the day off must have made some kind of mistake. That's what Saktaro said. So I believed him. I believed him. I love Mama. I love Mama. And of course, Mama loves me too. Loves me too. Yes. Me too. Love you too, Maria. Rosa let out a deep sigh. Maybe she felt the weight of her words. Then she set the receiver back on the bedside phone. The dark room made a window side view of the starry sky on the ground stand out even more beautifully. On the table in front of the terrace was a cold wine cooler, and the one she was enjoying a glass with was gazing at the scene below. You didn't tell your daughter that you were going on vacation. I told her once, but she made such a fuss about it, I decided not to tell her anymore. It's less of a pain that way. If you were worried about your daughter, surely you didn't have to force this into your schedule. But that way, we'd never get our schedules to match. Didn't I say not to worry about that? The slender, middle-aged man, clad in a white robe, gave a small sigh. Rosa reacted sensitively to the slight action. Come on, let's not talk about my daughter. Be a waste of this excellent wine. I find you fascinating as both a woman and a human being. But for that very reason, I feel bad about taking so much of your time that it strains your relationship with your daughter. Aren't I always asking you not to worry about my relationship with my daughter? I make sure not to talk about her when I'm alone with you, don't I? I wouldn't even have phoned from up here even if it weren't for the noisy drunks laughing stupidly in the lobby downstairs. Son, couldn't you reconsider sudden vacation like this in the future for your daughter's sake? Cioè, minchia, anche un uomo a caso con cui si sta frequentando Rosa si preoccupa più di Maria che di Rosa. Cioè un uomo che non è neanche il vero padre di Rosa, il vero padre di Maria, si preoccupa più di Maria che Rosa stessa. Isn't it alright if we do it only when our schedules match? But then our schedules won't match at all. Don't you understand? I want to be with you all the time. That's how a child behaves when they're in love. Porca puttana. Io queste cose non me ne stavo rendendo. Cioè, questo si ricollega benissimo a quando in episodio 2 Rosa parlava di come non era mai cresciuta veramente, di come non era mai diventata adulta, e quello che abbiamo visto prima del fatto che lei non ha mai esternato le sue emozioni quando i suoi fratelli e sorella, mentre crescevano, gli facevano dispetti più o meno gravi. Ok, ne abbiamo visto che hanno fatto anche cose un po' più gravi, di rompergli o rubargli i giocattoli. Il fatto che, sì, io sono diventato un grandissimo adulto, bottling up my emotions and not like facing them, vabbè, ok. Quindi, questo che gli dice direttamente che questo è come reagisce un bambino, in questo caso, è very telling. That's how a child behaves when they're in love. Love between adults should be a little more stoic. Rosa-san, I feel sad too that I can never stay with you for very long. But I think we're enjoying a very full adult romance with the limited time and opportunities we have. You're telling me to be with my daughter more. Don't be a mother, don't be a woman, be a mother. That's what you wish for too, isn't it?
娘さんと一緒にゆっ
You
くり
must
過ご
want to
したいと
spend some
あなた
relaxed
だっ
time
て思って
with
いる
your
はずだ
daughter.
僕は逃げません
I'm not going anywhere.
僕との時間を優
I'm
先する
trying
た
to
め
say
に
that I think it's
娘さんを
sad
犠
for
牲
you
に
to
するのは
sacrifice your
気の毒だ
daughter
と
so you
申し
can
上げたいです
prioritize your time with me.
奥さんともより戻したんですか？
Madonna. Cioè, non ho odio verso Rosa in questo momento, ma incredibile. Come si dice? L'emozione corretta. Cioè, è incredibilmente triste questa cosa. Di quanto immatura sia Rosa. Me ne sto rendendo conto solo. Cioè, vabbè, 8 anni fa quando l'ho letto avevo 18 anni, ok? Quindi. Mi rendo conto che in 8 anni sono passate tante cose, ho imparato tante cose, ho fatto molte esperienze, ma non mi ero reso conto di quanto immatura fosse. Mi ha dato sempre fastidio Rosa, mi ha sempre fatto male il rapporto tra lei e Maria, il modo in cui la trattava e tutto il resto. Però non mi sono mai reso conto di quanto immatura fosse Rosa, perché rispondere a una cosa del genere, detta da un adulto in questa maniera adulta, rispondere: e tu scusa? Non hai sistemato le tue cose con tua moglie, vero? Come se tipo tu involontariamente, perché lui l'ha detto in maniera molto pacata, adulta e sincera, rispondere a un'affermazione del genere con un'affermazione appositamente malicious, cioè una frase del genere che è direttamente cattiva, fatta per far male, è incredibilmente immatura da parte sua. Did you patch things up with your wife? You've started thinking you don't want to split up, haven't you? Ah, minchia! Your wife, non so perché ci ho pensato your wife come tipo ex. No, stanno ancora assieme. I don't want to talk about my wife. Just like you don't want to talk about your daughter.
子連れの女は面倒だって
You
思ったん
started
でしょ。
thinking that women with children are a
そ
pain.
んなこと
I never
今
said
までに一度
anything
も
of
言
the
ったことは
sort.
ありませんよ
みんな子連れだと分か
Whenever
ると手
someone
のひらを
finds out I
返
have
す
a child, they desert
あ
me.
の子の養育費は気に
Even
し
when
な
I
くていい
tell
か
them
ら
they don't need to worry about the
みんな
cost
手
of
のひ
raising
らを
her,
返す
they all desert
あ
me.
なたは
I thought you
娘
understood
のこと
about
を
my
理解してく
daughter.
れてると思ったのに
It looks like you really don't like
子連れ
women
だと
with
嫌なんで
children.
すね
E qua è projecting direttamente, cioè proprio
そうは言っていません
gaslighting anche volendo. That's not what
ロ
I'm
ーザさん
saying.
のことを
Of
嫌
course,
いに
I like you.
私が言いたいのは
Just trying to say
娘さんをもっ
you
と
should
大事
take
にしなさい
better care of
あ
your
なた自身
daughter.
もそれを望ん
You
でいるはず
must
だ
want that yourself,
だから
so
娘さん
I
に
don't
嘘
want
を
to
つい
hurt
て
you.
自らを
I
傷つ
don't
け
want,
てほしくない
want you to hurt yourself by lying to your daughter.
そう言ってるだけなんで
That's all I'm
す
saying.
嘘つき
Liar.
私のことが面倒になった
Just
だ
can't
け
be bothered to deal with me anymore, can you?
そんなことは言ってい
Never
ない
said that.
いいえわかる
No, I know.
私にはわか
I
る
can tell.
あの子を理由に何度
After
も
being
捨てられた
abandoned
私
so
だから
many
わかる
times
の
because of that child, I
雰
know.
囲気でわかるわ
Can tell by your
そうよ
mood. Yes,
あなた
you're
こ
the
そ
same.
他の
You're
男
just
たちと一緒
like the other man.
子連れの女は
You
嫌
don't
な
want a
の
woman with a
バツイチ
child.
は
You
嫌
don't
なの
want a divorce. You just want. You don't want to deal with it.
知らない男と作った
You
子
want to
供の
become
親
the
になんか
parent of
な
a
りたくない
child
で
with
しょ
another man, right?
ええ
No,
そう
of
よ
course
ね
you don't.
その気持ち
exactly
すっ
how that
ごいわかる
feels.
わ子連れの男と
I
付き合った
once
こと
went
があ
out
るけ
with
ど
a man with
そ
children.
の気持ち
He absolutely
すっごいわか
understood
った
that
の
feeling.
だから
That's
娘を
why I
理解
believe
して
that
くれるあ
I
なた
could
な
be
ら
together with you.
一緒
A
になれる
person
って
who
信じてた
understood
のに
about my daughter.
そうよあんたなんて
She was
邪魔だったのよ
always in the way. Ecco, questo mi fa odiare Rosa però. Cioè, prima era assolutamente non compassione, ma pity nei confronti di quanto immatura fosse Rosa. Questa roba qua mi fa andare su tutte le furie.
あんたさえいなければ
Not for you.
私はとっく
I
に
wouldn't been able to
女
grasp
と
my
しての
happiness
幸
as
せ
a
をつか
woman
めた
long
のよ
ago.
あんたの存在が
Your existence
私の
constantly
幸
gets
せを
in the
いつも
way of my
邪魔するのよ
happiness.
私だって
Even if I didn't want to give birth to
い
you.
いえ違うわ
That's
あん
not,
たと
that's
一緒に
wrong.
幸せな
I
家
did
庭を
think
築
it'd
け
be
たらと
nice to
思っ
build
た
a
わ
happy family together with you. But he disappeared
あんた
right
が生ま
before
れ
you
る
were
直前
born.
に私と温かい
He
家
said
庭を
he'd
築くと
build
言
a
って
warm family with
私を
me.
騙し
He tricked me and disappeared from my sight for all eternity.
残った
You
の
were
はあん
left.
ただけあ
No love or memories of anything remained.
あの男は今どこ
Where is that man now?
私との日
He
々を
probably
温か
just
な
turned
思い出
my
に勝手
days
に
with
変
him
え
into
て
a warm memory and found a new love.
そして
And maybe that time he managed to build up a happy
幸せな家庭を
family.
築けたかもしれないそして私は
And me?
あんたがいる
I have you.
恋も探せない
Can't even look for love.
男は
Men can go between women as they like and brag about it.
なのに女
The
に
woman, me,
あんたがいる
I have you.
あんたという面白い
I have you as a
あ
stone
んた
weight.
のせいで
Because of you, I can search for romance. I can't have love. I have no choice but to live alone.
いいえ
I'm not even allowed that. Not even allowed a night for myself to drown my
一人で酔
sorrows.
いつぶれたい夜さえ許されていないあんたは
Who
誰
are
何者
you? Who?
私の人生
You
を
ruined my life and won't even let me have a new one. Just what are you to my life?
私の人生の何者なのよ死ね消えろあんたなんか生まれてきた時から大嫌いあんたがお腹の中にいた頃から大嫌いだったそれを前向きに受け入れようと頑張って良き母を演じてきたわ
È molto difficile leggere queste parole. Mi fa male leggere queste parole. Però dobbiamo andare avanti. Die, disappear. I hated you since the time you were born. I hated you since the time you were in my womb. I try to stay positive and accept you, but I've been doing my best to play the part of a good mother. Yes, I did my very
同
best.
世代の女性たちが
As other women of my generation enjoyed being single, sometimes playing with passion or even being joined in with someone in love, I watched from the sidelines, stuck wearing the
女
two
と母
hats
の
of a
二足
mother
の
and
わ
a
らじを
woman.
吐き続けたわその私の苦労を
Whoever showed appreciation for my
誰がねぎらったの
effort,
誰も褒めない
no one admired me,
称えない
no one praised me. Again, si ritorna all'immaturità del cercare approvazione negli altri.
自業自得
I got what I deserve.
気持ちはいいや
I don't want a woman with a
負け
kid.
組の遠吠え
Woman with a sour
無
grapes.
な小娘が
You're
いい
looking with a girl who's sweet and
こ
pure.
っちから願い下げよう
Who the hell wants you? You goddamn inexperienced
必
punks.
死だった私
I
は
was so
さ
desperate.
ぞかし簡単
I
に
probably
落ちる
looked
女
like
に
I'd
見えた
fall
の
for
さ
you easy.
必
Yes,
死だったわ
damn
よ
right, I was
まだま
desperate.
だ恋をしたい年
I'm
頃
still
の
at the
私
age where you want to know
日
love.
々を仕事
I
と
was
育児で
being
忙殺さ
swamped
れて
with
いき
work and caring for a child. And when I realized that I would probably grow old and live out my life like this,
どれほど必死だ
I
った
can't
か
even imagine how
想
desperate
像
I
もつ
was.
かないでしょうよ
Again. Allora, a me fa salire la rabbia, fa salire l'odio. Adesso sto parlando tanto di Rosa perché per me è un personaggio molto divisivo. Cioè, è un personaggio molto divisivo nella community, sì, ma quello che volevo dire è un personaggio che mi fa suscitare emozioni contrastanti. Da una parte mi rendo conto che Rosa ha avuto veramente una brutta vita e sin dall'infanzia, poi sicuramente sarà stata traumatizzata dall'aver visto e aver causato indirettamente la morte della Beatrice Beatrice umana senza virgolette, perché c'è stato detto della Beatrice umana nel 67, se ricordo bene. Quella è sicuramente una cosa che si è portata dietro anche inconsciamente per il resto della sua vita. E poi essere rimasta incinta, probabilmente assolutamente in maniera non voluta, è stata lasciata dal suo compagno, è rimasta in un momento della sua vita difficile da sola a far crescere una bambina, mentre al contempo le occupazioni del lavoro e tutto il resto. Questo lo capisco, mi rendo conto anche le critiche che stava facendo prima del fatto che c'è questa disparità tra uomini e donne per quanto riguarda avere figli, ok? Ci si aspetta che sia la madre che si deve occupare della figlia, in questo caso lei è rimasta da sola con la figlia e c'è questo double standard, questa inuguaglianza, questa cosa che è semplicemente sbagliata, mi sfugge il termine. Questo mi rendo conto quanto una persona come Rosa, con i suoi pregressi e con la sua situazione attuale, possa snappare certo queste cose la fanno impazzire, allo stesso tempo proprio perché una persona così matura non riesce a affrontare questo problema in maniera matura. Segue l'istinto infantile di arrabbiarsi con la persona che è la causa di questo, ma la causa nel senso lato del termine, non è proprio, è la causa ma non è colpa sua, cioè succede per via del fatto che c'è Maria, sì, ma non è colpa di Maria, ok? Se ci sono questi pregiudizi nei confronti di una donna che ha avuto già un figlio e quindi quelle critiche che faceva prima, probabilmente ripetendo parole che ha sentito dire, no? Dov'è che era adesso? Sour grapes, ok? Don't want a woman with a kid, looking for a girl who's sweet and pure, ovviamente alludendo al fatto che lei ha... cioè, uno fino a che non ha figli, soprattutto in un periodo storico come quello dove magari la verginità era vista come una virtù, ok? Uno fino a che non ha figli può dire io ho mai fatto niente, però se hai una figlia è ovvio che quindi ci sono cose che trovano causa in Maria, ma non è Maria la colpa di ciò, ok? Quindi Rosa, da persona che non è mai riuscita a crescere, che non è mai riuscita ad affrontare questi traumi, quando si trova in una situazione del genere dà la colpa a Maria, anche perché è la causa del problema senza averne la colpa, ripeto. È brutto dire che Maria sia la causa, come ho detto, il problema trova causa in Maria, ok? È la stessa cosa detta in maniera diversa. Va bene, andiamo avanti. Penso di aver detto quello che volevo dire. Of course I hate your real father too, but he and I both share the blame for bringing about that breakup. I myself might have been enough of a pain in the ass to make him run away. But the breakups, after all of them, were your fault. No, non after all. After that, non after all. When did I ever scold you for that? E non è colpa sua, puttana. Rosa, ti tirei uno schiaffo adesso. Never did I. The day after one man left me, when I wanted to drink myself dead drunk, was Parents' Day at your school. I was there, my tear-stained eyes disguised with heavy makeup, and the way I felt when you said something off the mark and the whole class laughed at you. It's something I expect you and everyone else on this planet couldn't possibly understand. I hate you, loathe you, and up until this very moment I never really loved you even once. Maria's face was frozen. If words really were blades, Maria's whole body would probably have been stained red with fresh blood by now. And even after gaining the power of a witch, with resolving herself to take revenge for Sakutaro, she couldn't stand those curses coming out of her mother's mouth. Ugly. How ugly is a woman drowning in dust? This is the woman's true nature. Even I, 1,000-year-old witch who has explored the depths of evil, find this most difficult to watch. Oh, Maria. Now is the time for you and her to part ways. Smash that ugly lump of meat that calls yourself her mother. Calls herself your mother. There is no meaning in your pure soul being bound any longer by the chains of a parent and child. With your own hand. Release your own soul now. You have now gained teeth and the claws to protect yourself.
マリアを苦しめてきた日々を今こそ思い知らせてやる。苦しみの日々を
こそ復讐してやる。
Now I'll make you learn all the days of pain I went through. I'll get revenge for my days of suffering.
その私を苦しめてきたのは私が復讐したいくらいよ。
Aren't you the only one who's been making me suffer? I'm the one who wants
あんた
revenge.
が生まれる前
I
に
should
そう
have
すれば
done
よか
that
った。
before you were born. I should have never given birth to you.
消えてし
Get
ま
out of
え。
my life. As Rosa howled, her upper body was crushed in a way that can only be described by the word splat, and in an instant was turned into something similar to a wrung, blood-stained tower.
潰れてしまえ。許せない。
Can't forget. You filth.
ふさわし
That
い
form suits you. Even though everything from Rosa's waist downwards was upright as normal, the upper half of her body alone was crushed, but the extreme difference was altogether bizarre. Then she fell over, but her body was regenerated the instant she fell.
死になさいよ。
Die.
さあ
Come, Maria.
そなたの怒り
Is this all there is to your anger and sadness? Now is the time for revenge.
怒りと悲しみの
Time for the
生産
settlement of anger and sadness.
をつける。
Take it out on her, spit it out at her.
そなたの
Push out all of the wedges that have been driven into your chest and fling them back. Maria's howl was colored by the ugly sound of flesh and bone being simultaneously crushed. As Rosa, who had foully insulted Maria, lay spread-eagled. A neat, perfectly circular area of her chest was squashed into a pulp, as though he had been trampled by an invisible elephant. Her heart and her lungs and her ribs were trampled so mercilessly that they have been completely indistinguishable. That might have symbolized the pain in Maria's heart up until that day. So, Maria, are you now satisfied? Can you forget your mother's sin?
いいな
Or not? Innocent or guilty? Forgive? See, can't forgive at all.
ママは有罪だ。
Guilty, 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 guilty.
無論
Naturally, how could your days of anguish be equaled by this level of punishment?
見合ってなるものか。おいし
You
る。
will learn, Rosa.
さあ思い
Come,
出して
try
ご
to
らん。
remember what
そなたが
form
どんな
did
姿
you
をして殺されるために
revive in order to be killed?
己が
Be
罪を
killed in
犯すために
order to
殺される
purify your sins over and over. Beato waved her wand, her body was regenerated again, and Rosa sat up, coughing violently in pain. And once again she spat out curses rejecting
お
Maria.
前はママなんかじゃない。
Mama,
魔女だ。
you're a witch.
マリアと
A
ママは
witch tormenting me and Mama.
ママの姿をし
Won't
ているから
forgive you just because you look like Mama.
許さない。
魔女はあんたの気持ち悪い。
Always reading creepy books and
魔女
playing
ごっこ
witches.
消えるのは
You're the one
あんたの子よ。
who should disappear
あんたのせいで
because of you.
私まで代わり
Even
に
I get
扱い
treated like a
あん
weirdo
たのせいで
because of you.
あんたのせいでお前なんか産まなけれ
I
ば
should
よ
have
かった
never given birth to
お
you.
前なんか生ま
I
れて
wish
くる
you've never been
生
born.
まれてくる前
I hated you since before you were born. Maria screamed. She was unable to bear her anger and sadness, or else was she taken over by an indescribable emotion. It was surely a cry of hopelessness. And yet, this was the reality that she had to be And yet, this was the reality that had to be accepted. Even Maria knew. She known that she was thought of a nuisance, but even though she knew it, she did not believe it. She believed that she was loved by her mother and all of the various events that should have made her doubt this. She did her utmost to interpret it in a positive light, trusting and clinging to her mother's love. but she had no one except her mama. Despite all of this, she really did love her mama, and wanted to return to the days where she could still believe that her mama loved her too. So she howled. She brought everything to nothing. She would not accept it. She denied it. She denied the black witch making her mother say such things, and the part of herself that couldn't forgive that mother. But she couldn't deny it. That was reality, fact, truth, the answer, truth. Unmistakable, absolute reality. Maria turned Rosa into a lump of meat over and over. In the dark world that reflected her heart, over and over it echoed, that ugly sound which would make one want to cover their ears, of flesh and bone being torn apart. Each time Beatrice revived Rosa, she dragged her back into the world of endless torture, from which even death was no escape. This was the deepest hell that the endless witch Beatrice could create. However, this world was not made endless by Beatrice's will, because every time Rosa turned into a lump of meat, Beatrice asked the same question to Maria. Are you satisfied, Maria? Can your anger forgive your mother? No way. Won't forgive. I'll teach you all of my pain. Teach you more, much more. Not enough. Not close to enough. Since I was born. Since before I was born. Can't erase the anger and sadness of being despised for all that time. I hate you. Again and again she revived her. Again and again she returned her to a lump of meat. In all kinds of ways she crushed her, smashed her, beat her and tore her to bits. Flying blood splatter and flesh had been and by now turned the once pitch black world into a mix of red and black. Maria's anger was still not settling down. It was as though she was disgorging all of the rage she had suppressed from the time of her birth until today. It was all poison to her heart. Then would the repeated murder of her mother purify her soul? Could these pointless atrocities save her soul even just a little bit? This endless torture might have started serving as a slight diversion from her sad, unrewarded life. After all, it seemed that she had finally been able to regain her smile. Learn it. You, the source of my unhappiness. Learn it. Learn that my pain is greater than this. How strong? Aren't you going to laugh anymore? Try and laugh. Half of her skull collapsed. Eyeballs flew out and black cranial fluids gushed. Fragments of teeth scattered. Come on, revive. Try and laugh. Come on, come on. Her whole chest along with her ribs turned inside out, spewing her filthy innards everywhere around her. All of them writhed, looking like some kind of foul creature. Come on, come on, come on! Revive! Can you still laugh? Can you still laugh? Rosa couldn't let out a laugh anymore, but her face was laughing. It was covered in a twisted laugh, which had filled with malice that rejected her unwanted daughter. I erased that laughing voice. Next, I erased that laughing face. I'll erase it, I'll crush it, I'll tear it to bits. Now, try and laugh, Mama. Laugh, try and laugh, Mama. What's wrong, Mama? Wake up. Read me a picture book. Let's go take a walk. Tell me you love me, make me a promise for next Sunday. Let's go shopping, let's go to the movies, and then of course break that promise away. Anyway.
楽しいねママ、楽しいね。マリアは今ママと遊んでるんだね。
Isn't this fun, Mama? Isn't it fun playing with you now? That's right. You're now playing with your mother, having fun with her. Tell me your emotions now. I believe they should not be of anger or sadness or pain. Yes, you're right. I can feel it, Beatrice. I'm having so much fun now. I'm playing with Mama, so it's tons of fun. Even though I'm killing Mama over and over again, I can bring her back to life with just a single bit of magic. I took care of my toys because I couldn't fix them if they broke. But if the toys could be fixed, I want to break them over and over again. But
サク太郎は
Saptaro
治らないんだね。治せないんだね。
it can't be
作っ
fixed.
たママが産んだママが
Because Mama
認め
who
ないか
made
ら。
him, Mama who gave birth to him, won't accept him.
私もママに
Not
認
accepted
められ
by
てな
Mama
いんだ
either.
ね。だから壊れたマ
But
リ
the
アも
broken Maria can't be fixed
も
anymore
う治ら
either.
ないんだね。楽しいな。楽しいよママ。こんなにも楽しくなったらなぜかママが許せる気がしてきたの。
It's fun, so much fun, Mama. I'm having so much fun that somehow I'm starting to feel like I could forgive you. Hey, Beato. This is a really strange emotion. Why? Why have I started to feel like I could forgive, Mama? This is the enlightened state that's only reached by witches who have gained the power to control life and death at will. You can kill her at any time. You can bring her back to life if needed. If she becomes a pain, you can simply kill her once more. Once you've learned that you can do this at any time simply by snapping your fingers, the nonsense of the human realm, all of it becomes unworthy of lending an ear to, of less importance than the chirping of insects. You began to feel like forgiving your mother not because your eyes were open to your mother's love, but because it is because of now, as of that moment, you stand at the entrance to the world of true witches. Welcome, Maria, to the profound and sweet world of the witches.
マリアはもうマリアじゃない。
I'm not Maria
まだ
anymore.
見習いかもしれ
I'm
ない
still
けれ
an
ど、
apprentice,
人
maybe,
間の世界を
but I've surpassed the human world.
私はもう原初の魔女見習いマリアなんだ。もう私は何も悔しくない、悲しくない。
Now, I'm the apprentice witch of Origins, Maria. There's nothing to make me feel bitter, nothing to make me feel sad.
ママ、許してあげるよ。
I'll forgive
き
you.
っと私は
I'm
マ
sure
マ
I
を
can
許せ
forgive
る。
you.
もうちょっとしたら
I
許せ
think I'll be
る
able
と
to
思うの。
forgive you after doing this just a little bit more.
だって魔女だから。
After all, I am a witch. Maria probably would forgive her mother eventually, after brutally murdering her countless times, generously. Che dire? Un momento importante.
でけえな。
Oh, e adesso penso che siamo tornati nella game board. Whoa! That last thunderbolt was huge. Must be pretty close, don't you think?
みたいだね。
It did sound like
いく
it.
つになっても
No matter how old you
リクッと
get,
させられる
thunder
ね。
still makes you jump. Butter was looking at the dark night through a crack in the curtains. Every once in a while, a pale white lightning bolt would light up the sky, and he seemed to be enjoying it. Please, Butler, you're making so much noise that Maria's woken up now. Sorry, Maria. Sorry, Butler is so noisy.
なんだよ、俺のせいかよ。
What the heck? It's my fault.
悪いな。
Sorry,
寝て
Maria.
ていいぞ。
You can go back to
おやす
sleep.
みな。
Nighty night. Maria was looking a bit hazy with drowsy eyes. She was probably still half asleep and couldn't think straight.
もういい
I had enough.
寝ない
I won't sleep.
いいから寝てろって。
It's okay.
ま
Sleep.
だ寝ぼけてるぜ。
You're still half asleep right now.
寝ぼけてない
Not half asleep. Oh.
なんだよ。
Come
もろ
on.
に寝ぼ
You're
けてるじゃねえか。
blatantly half asleep.
寝てろ寝て
Lie
ろ。
back down. Lie back down.
寝ぼけてない寝ぼけてない
Not half asleep. Not half asleep. Ooh, ooh.
よせってバカバ
Hated
トラ
Butler, you dumbass.
もう
Oh god, what are you thinking? Getting a kid who's just woken up into a bad
寝
mood.
ぼけてない寝ぼけてないもん
分かってるよ、マリアちゃ
I
ん。
understand,
寝
Maria-chan.
ぼけてなんか
You
ないよ。
aren't half
だ
asleep.
から落ち着いて。
calm down.
寝ぼけてないもん寝ぼけてないもん
Maybe it was because of her dubious mental state after waking up, but Maria suddenly threw a tantrum. Ciao Ermicino, grazie di essere stato qui. Ci vediamo più tardi, un'altra live. Domani dovrei fare una live su Cult of the Lamb, che è da un po' che non riesco a farne una. Ciao ciao. In Butler's mind, he had only been teasing her a little bit, so he was taken aback by this extreme overreaction. George hugged her and held her head, trying to calm her down, but Maria's tantrum wasn't quelled easily. Butler and Jessica were trying to push the blame onto each other, saying it's your fault too.
ほら、
Hey,
二人とも静かにして。
quiet, you two.
ジェシカちゃん、
Jessica
ポットにまだお湯があったよ
There
ね。
was still some hot water. There was still some hot water in the
お
pot,
茶でも入
right?
れてあげてくれる
Did you make some tea for her?
落ち着いた。
You calm
Maria-chan.
down, Maria-chan.
おー
It looked like her tantrum was dying down bit by bit, but she was still glaring at Butler, who made fun of her with sharp
バト
eyes.
ラ君もふざけて言っただけなんだ
Butler
よ。
was just
マ
messing
リアちゃんが
around. He
寝
doesn't
ぼ
really
けてるなん
think
て
you're
思ってない
asleep,
だから落ち着いて。
so calm down.
ね。
Alright? George noticed Maria was staring at Butler with incredible eyes, and despite having just displayed all of that emotion, she laughed in a small voice. Instead of a laugh, it seemed more like she was muttering while savoring, or else counting each he. As though each time she said he, she was making an attempt, something brutal happened over and over. George felt something creepy for a split second, but he wasn't able to notice the madness that for a brief moment peeked out of the depths of the girl's eyes. After remaining spaced out for a short period of time, Maria stopped her bizarre quiet laugh and pushed George's arm aside, as though telling him to let go.
許す
Forgive him.
そう。
Really?
マリアちゃんは偉いな。
Such a good girl,
Butler-kun.
Maria-chan.
Maria-chanが許してくれたよ。
Maria-chan forgave
仲直りして。
you. Make up with her.
ああ、悪いな。
Sorry
から
for
かって。
teasing you.
許してくれ。
Forgive me.
ほらマリア
Here you go,
仲
Maria.
直りの印
Made
に
you
カフェオレ作ってやったぜ
caffè non so, non ho mai fatto francese. Caffè au lait to show me you've made up with
砂
you.
糖いっぱい入ってるか
To,
ら甘いぜ
to show we've made up with you. We got lots of sugar in it, so it's
い
sweet.
らない
I don't
でも
want it,
許す
but
よ
I forgive you
魔女だからね
because I'm a witch. Once more, Maria left in a creepy, quiet voice, but it was only for a very short time. So Butler and Jessica didn't think much of it. They decided to think that probably it only looked that way for an instant when a flash of lightning had lit up her cheek with a pale white light. Cos'è? Tipo, adesso immagino immagino, questo non è, ripeto, non è qualcosa che io so, immagino che tipo dopo quello che è successo, dopo che Rosa ha distrutto Sakutaro, se vogliamo interpretare quello che abbiamo appena visto sotto un punto di vista logico, deve essere stato un modo nuovo in cui Maria riesce a affrontare, to cope with questi momenti brutti. Si immagina di uccidere e distruggere le persone che le hanno fatto male. Immagino, se vogliamo vederla se vogliamo interpretare quello che abbiamo visto dal punto di vista logico, come possiamo interpretare che Sakutaro sia un leoncino di pezza e le Seven Sisters siano solo un amico immaginario di Enge. Possiamo interpretare tutta questa sequenza di Maria con Beatrice che uccidono e fanno tornare in vita Rosa fino a che Maria non surpassa questo suo enorme burden emotivo, con adesso Maria, quando c'è qualcuno che le dà fastidio, tipo chiude gli occhi, si immagina, o anche senza chiudere gli occhi, si immagina di prenderli e strapparli a metà, distruggerli, e questa cosa la fa sentire superiore in quanto strega e quindi la riesce a calmare. Immagino, perché il modo in cui descriveva prima il fatto che sta immaginando qualcosa di brutale guardando Butler mi ha fatto pensare questo. Ripeto, questo non è qualcosa che so, non so neanche se mai lo dicono, è una mia congettura. Non so se ha senso per voi. Allora, Giove, non preoccuparti, ti farò gli auguri domani, allora. Then they heard the sound of loud and hasty footsteps rushing towards them from the hall. It was already about 10:30 at night, a time that could safely be called late at night. Hearing footsteps like that at this time was not very peaceful. Then, along with clearly disquieting and wild series of knocks, they heard Goda and Kumasawa's voices. They clearly told them that this was an abnormal situation. Children, are you in there? Are you there? It's Goda. It's Kumasawa. Is everyone alright? When George opened the door, the two of them tumbled in, sopping wet. It looked like they had just dashed here from the mansion without an umbrella. What's gotten into you two? What's happened? It was the master, Karosama, everyone, Oh, cute Goda. No, dai! Mi stavo godendo il momento.